Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name's Lynn. Today we are watching Lost Season 1, Episode 14. Before we get into that, I just want to do three things real quick. Number one, if you're watching Episode 14 along with me right now and you have not subscribed to the channel yet, please do me a favor, and before you leave today, hit the subscribe button and the little notification bell. I feel like if you're 14 episodes in, I've probably proven to you that what I'm doing here is something that you're probably gonna like. Huge favor to me. It doesn't cost you anything, so I'd really appreciate it if you could do that for me. Item number two, I want to talk about a little bit of a theme that I've kind of been picking up on and that I kind of have been thinking about a lot this week as I've been thinking about the show. And that is this. There kind of so far have been two groups of people that we've seen flashbacks for. There are people who were going to Australia to, I'm going to say, retrieve something. In this case, usually that something is actually a someone, but forgive the language. Anyway, they're going to Australia to get someone to bring them back. Jack was going to Australia to get his father and bring him home. Charlie was going to Australia to talk his brother into coming back with him to get the band back together. And Boone was going to Australia to get his sister and bring her back. There's another group of people who were going to Australia almost for the opposite reason. They're not going there to get something, they're going there to run from something. So most notably, Kate was going there to run from her problems that she had with various law enforcement entanglements, I guess I'll say. You could also argue that the Marshal falls into the first group because he went to Australia to retrieve Kate and bring her back. Sun was in Australia because she was in the process of running from her husband. I think you could make the argument that Claire was in Australia because she was trying to get to LA to run from having to raise a child that she didn't want. I guess in this construct that I've set up, one of the only people that comes to mind that hasn't fallen into it so far would be Locke. I guess he doesn't really fall into either of those things. Sawyer seems like you could make the case that he was probably running from the same sorts of things that Kate is running from. There are people that we have not seen backstories from yet in the main group, most notably Michael and his son Walt, and we haven't seen a backstory for Hurley yet. Honestly, I'm a little worried about the Hurley backstory when it comes, just because I've liked his character a lot so far. Those of you who have been watching previous episodes know that Hurley has been my favorite character a lot of the time, and I'm worried that they're going to hit us with a twist that Hurley is not the good guy that we've seen him as on the island, and that's really going to suck for me. Michael and his son, I think, unless they throw a crazy curveball at me, it seems to me that Michael would fall within the first group who are going to Australia to retrieve someone. Like, he seems to have been going there to get his son. We haven't seen a backstory, so we don't know what the conditions are that surround him making the decision to travel to Australia to get his son. I believe Michael has said that he is from LA, so that leads me to believe that possibly his wife died in Australia and he's going there because he would then have custody. It's also a possibility that Mike went to Australia and got his son without anyone's permission, also known as kidnapping. So that's a possibility. We did see Michael with a box that he found in his own bag. If his wife died, there's a possibility that those are his wife's ashes in that box. So there's something that I'm sure that all of you who have seen every episode and have seen every episode multiple times, and you know the actual contents of that box, can look back on and laugh and say, this guy's a moron and every prediction is always wrong. I'm going to keep throwing them out there because eventually I'm going to be right, and I'm going to, if I'm honest with myself, I'm going to brag about it when I'm right. I'm going to try to play it off like I had some kind of Sixth Sense Nostradamus type shit, and then all of you guys can hit me up in the comments and be like, right, but Remember how wrong you were about Michael's box? Anyway, the only thing left to do before we get right into this video is we got to do the featured comment from the previous episode. We're going to jump right into that right now, and then we're going to go directly into episode 14. Let's go. All right, guys, time to do the comment of the week. So this comment comes to us from user @Aramat. I probably just butchered your name there. I'm sorry about that. I do the best I can. It's pretty much just trying to phonetically pronounce whatever's on the screen. Your comment was, I love that your first reaction video was lost. Making a commitment like that is admirable. Was that a deliberate choice? I remember you saying that you have family who've seen it, but I wondered how Lost figured into a choice starting a YouTube reaction channel. First off, thank you for your comment. To be fully honest, Lost was not the first reaction video I did. I know that if you go to my channel and you go oldest to newest, it looks like the oldest video that I did was a Lost video, but I actually recorded 2 movie reactions that were technical screw-ups on my end. I recorded the entire video and then realized that some of the audio tracks had gotten combined in a way where I couldn't separate them, and it really just made the editing completely impossible. It wasn't even that it was inconvenient or that it made it take way longer. It made it completely impossible. So those 2 movies were scrapped. They will never get edited. They will never get uploaded. Then I did Evil Dead Rise. That one got flagged by YouTube multiple times. It took me, I don't even remember, 8, 9, 10 times to get it up. Finally, it got up, but it had like a partial copyright claim on it. But at that point, that was the first movie that I had ever done a reaction to that I had successfully uploaded. So I left it up for like a month or 2. I started doing the reactions to Lost. And then after a couple months, when I had some other movie reactions under my belt, I decided to go back and re-edit out the parts that were causing the issues with my Evil Dead Rise reaction. And then when I re-uploaded that, it kind of changes the upload date. So the upload date on that movie is a little deceptive because it was actually uploaded several months before. That makes any sense. I know that was a long, rambling, confusing way to go about answering that, but that's a little behind the scenes kind of how that worked out. As to how I picked Lost, yes, my wife and my sister were both big fans of the show at the time that it was originally on the air. When my wife and I first started dating, they would start having discussions about Lost. Everyone I've ever talked to always talks about how great the show is. So when I sat down to do a reaction channel and I knew that I wanted to react to a television show, I basically started a list of possibilities. Lost was definitely pretty high up on that list. And then I basically just kind of picked Lost purely because of how much everyone else had told me all along that it was a great show. And 14 episodes into the journey, what am I going to do? I can't disagree with that. I definitely missed out, but I'm catching up now. So the good news is that you guys get to witness that in real time. I hope that answers your question. I'm sorry that this was kind of a long, rambling answer to your question, but that's a little behind the scenes, kind of how the sausage is made, if you will, explanation. Let's not waste any more time. Let's just jump into episode 14. Let's go.
Walt! Hey, Jack, you see my boy when you were out there?
No, he was at the caves.
Yeah, he took his dog for a walk. Told him to stay close as usual. You listened to your old man when you were 10, right?
Not at all.
Yo, dudes. Got a new tourney lined up. We're playing for the last of the deodorant sticks.
I gotta go find my kid.
And we're going to get a backstory with Mike and Walt.
Being a dad.
No, it's just a lot of hard work.
Yeah, he's just not used to it.
Nah, he hates it.
I mean, he's got a kid that's running off into the jungle on his own. Like, he has a right to be a little concerned and a little upset about that.
Walt! This is definitely my baby's crib.
It'll look great in the alley we'll be living in. This is 3 months' rent. I know you're excited, but Michael, we can't afford.
Is that, damn it, I'm gonna look it up after the episode and I'm gonna hate myself for not being able to pull her name out of my head.
You can support me and Walt in a manner to which we'll soon become accustomed.
Walt, huh? Walter Lloyd.
Oh, he is gonna be not happy about this.
Man, I suck.
I want you to aim for it. Right here. All right? Picture it in your mind's eye. You know what that is, right? The mind's eye?
Like a picture in your head? Or...
That's right. Now do it again. But...
Whoa.
Yes!
Yeah. That's some Mr. Miyagi shit.
But,
Take Vincent and go back to camp.
well, Mr.
Now,
Michaels-
little man.
Look, we all know that Locke doesn't have bad intentions with this. Like, he's not trying to, you know, like, teach the kid to shoot heroin or something. Like, he's trying to teach him important survival skills while they're stranded in the jungle. But Michael has told Locke to stay away from his son, and he's told his son to stay away from Locke. At a certain point, I can't blame him for the conversation they're probably about to have. Like, I can't blame him for being pissed off at Locke for doing things that he has specifically said, do not do this, and has told his son, do not do this. And then his son is nowhere to be found. He goes wandering through the jungle. Lo and behold, his son is hanging out with Locke, doing the exact kind of shit that he's told both of them, don't do that. Like, you gotta either respect the dad's wishes, or you gotta be willing to take whatever consequences come along with that when he finds out that you've been doing shit behind his back. That's all I'm saying. Let's see what he says.
You give my boy a knife. Giving him a knife like this?
Walt knows his own mind.
Hey, don't talk to me about my son like you know him.
Ooh.
And I'm gonna have a...
All right. Okay.
Michael, I know it's been difficult to bond with your son. You know why he's formed an attachment to me? Because I treat him like an adult. You still treat him like a boy.
He's 10 years old.
He's different.
What did you say? Stay away from my son. And me.
If things do start to break down in the group along lines of people who are more in line with Jack and people who are more in line with John, Boone is obviously fully in line with John. Like, there was no prompting from John whatsoever. Boone just jumped Mike the second there was a threat to John. Little baby Walt.
You're not taking my son. You're talking about going to Amsterdam. Just you and him.
We've talked about taking some time apart.
Hey, we said a lot of things. You said you wanted to live on a boat.
Yeah, I might do that in Amsterdam.
Hey, we got problems, right? That's what people have. You want to go to counseling? I'm down with that. Let's go. Right?
No, she's past that. She's already made that decision.
You already took it, didn't you? The job.
Yeah, I did. You haven't worked in months. We're not married, Michael. I'm his mother, and I'm steadily employed. Who do you think the court's gonna side with?
Ugh.
This is not goodbye forever.
I mean, you're talking about going to Europe. That's practically forever. Alright, so why were you in Australia, Michael?
Are you all right?
No, I'm okay. You can't grow up here.
Once I realized these equations were coordinates, latitude and longitude, I assumed the French woman was trying to determine the location of the island. But it was incomplete. The notation's fragmented. But when I laid the pages down like this, I realized it wasn't showing the location of the island. I think it's a location on the island, specifically here.
I got like a coded map.
What are we talking about doing now? Looking for another excuse to get chased down and killed by whatever lives in the jungle?
So, are you suggesting something?
Yeah, we built a raft.
A raft.
In the ocean?
Those seats, we took off the fuselage. They float. And we got an axe. And a whole bunch of trees, bamboo. We can do this. But I'm doing this. My son and I are leaving. Anybody that wants to help us build, God bless you.
Alright, there's gonna be something in this comic book. Because I feel like early on there was like a bear in the comic book. Yeah, there it is.
I need your help with something.
I'm doing stuff.
You know, when I was your age, I don't know, maybe a little older, I used to trace comic books. Taught myself about perspective. You know what that is? Let me talk to him.
He's 21 months old. He doesn't use the phone.
I'll do all the talking. I just want him to hear my voice.
Okay, this isn't a good time. Shh, it's Michael.
Dude.
What the hell is going on?
I've been seeing someone.
Who?
Yeah. You're not going to know him. He's in Amsterdam.
The guy who hires you.
Oh, I guess he does kind of know.
I'm coming to Amsterdam.
Michael, don't.
Okay.
I'm not coming for you. I'm coming for Walt.
Oh, shit. Oh, that came out of nowhere. All right. How does she get from Amsterdam to Australia? I guess maybe she doesn't. Maybe if you're flying from the West Coast, because I'm on the East Coast, so I was thinking you would go from like New York City to Europe, but maybe from the West Coast, it's faster to go across the Pacific to Australia and then to Amsterdam, and then you would be in Australia on your returning flight, heading back over the Pacific.
Claire's diary. She kept her diary in her side pocket. I know because I saw her put it in there. Someone's taken it.
Hey, separate the cushions, the plastic, the tarp. Put everything you find in different piles so we could take stock.
Am I being punished?
Sawyer.
So what are you two selling today?
Where's Claire's diary?
Something goes missing, and right away you figure it's got to be me that...
Yeah, why would anyone think that?
Dear diary, I'm getting really freaked out by that has-been pop star. Just won't let up.
Ow!
Oh, all right. Got some fighting. Oh, shit. Keep your hands up.
You didn't really read it, did you?
I just haven't gotten around to it yet.
I just like fucking with people. Visualize the boat. See in your mind's eye you sorting, tubing, and frames, and bamboo, and cushions. See it and then do it.
I'm gonna get some water.
So you guys just gonna keep coming back without any food?
Shannon, you've been a functioning bulimic since junior high. Thought you'd be excited about dropping a size or two.
Zing!
Maybe you should help Michael. He's building a raft. I was thinking I would help him out. Maybe finally get the hell out of here. Why don't you help me?
Yeah.
No thanks.
Go ask Saeed to help you.
Your father doesn't want us spending time together.
He's not the boss of me.
Kind of is.
He's your father. You're not to come to me anymore.
Damn it! What is wrong with you? I told you to stay away from my son.
He didn't. I was just
Well,
giving
I don't want to hear from you.
I was just giving him this pencil to give to you. I thought you could use it. I catch you with my son again, I'll kill you.
Don't say that shit loud enough for Boone to hear it.
You don't care about me. You never cared about me. You only show up after my mom died? Where were you when I was growing up, huh? Nowhere.
You gonna punish me for something I can't change? Fine. But you will listen to me.
Uh-oh. I really thought we were going to progressively find more and more clues in this comic book, but it's getting burned up in this episode. I guess that's not going to be a thing. Keep zooming in on this image of this polar bear.
For my son. It's gonna be 2 next week.
Yeah? I didn't know you have a kid.
Yeah. Never know what to write.
Hello, Michael.
She actually come to LA?
Finally called Andy when I hadn't heard from you in over 2 months.
Did you bring Walt?
No, he's at home.
With Brian.
That is a shitty choice.
I'm covering all your medical costs.
What? What is this about?
I want a divorce.
Brian and I are getting married, and he wants to adopt Walt.
Uh-oh.
You're kidding me, right?
Consider what's best for Walt.
So what she's really proposing here is, I'm going to pay for your medical bills, and in exchange for that, I'm basically buying our son. Like, she wants full custody. Brian is going to adopt him. I'm pretty sure to make that happen, Michael would have to sign over his parental rights. So he would basically have no rights to ever see or talk to his son again, ever. And then at some point she dies. I was right about that. But if Brian has adopted Walt at that point, Michael wouldn't have any legal authority to go there and take his son back. Like, from a legal standpoint, that's Brian's son. That maybe Brian died too, or maybe the other option is what happened. Maybe Michael went there after she died and just took Walt, and maybe Michael was on the run with him when the plane crashed. It's going to be so humiliating when I'm so off base on this prediction and you guys are all going to laugh at me and be like, hey, you are dumb. All right, let's continue on and find out how wrong I am.
Dude, the kid's gone.
What?
He just grabbed the dog and took off.
I know where he's gone.
Lock.
Where the hell is he?
Walt's not here, Mike.
Don't lie to me.
I told him this morning that he couldn't be around me anymore. Trying to respect your wishes.
But then if he's not...
Let's go find your boy.
What if he went back to the debris and started sorting stuff?
I barely knew her. Barely know her. She's been missing over a week, and every day she's gone, it feels like bits of me are crumbling off.
Are you gonna read her diary, dude? Yeah, you're gonna do it. Just do it or don't do it, man.
Come on, Vincent.
Where you going, Walt?
Come out, Vincent! What's wrong? Vincent!
And they're gonna find that leash.
Hey. Hello. Homework.
I told you I need help. Who cares about birds of Australia anyway? We're in Australia.
Alright, so they moved to Australia, obviously.
I picked the bronze kahooka. It's funny. You want to see?
What about Barkley?
I mean, it doesn't look funny. Just the name.
Sleeping in late. That's too much.
Hey, Brian, look. You're not looking.
Yeah, there's something more important going on right now. Your mom's dying.
You're not looking.
Oh my God.
Oh, it's one of those birds I was writing my report on. Just flew into the door and killed himself. Okay. It's gonna be another bear. That way we kept flashing to the bear in the comic.
Can I help you?
I'm Brian.
I'm Brian Porter.
Susan's Brian?
I need to talk to you.
Susan, know you here, man?
Susan died yesterday. Turns out she had a blood disorder.
And Walt? How's he,
He's fine. He's back home with his nanny. Before she died, Susan, she told me she wanted you to have custody of Walt. Since you're his father...
I haven't been his father in 9 years.
I was honest with her from the beginning, but she wouldn't hear it.
Hear what?
I don't like kids.
I didn't want to be a father.
Yep.
These are 2 tickets. It's one round trip, the other one way, Sydney to New York. The envelope has money in it for travel expenses.
She didn't tell you. She wanted me to have custody of him. This is your idea. What the hell are you talking about? You're the only father he knows.
It's more than that.
Well, then what?
There's something about him. Sometimes when he's around, things happen. He's different somehow.
Over here.
Mm-hmm.
What the hell would... Walt?
Support asked me to give you that. Some of Susan's effects.
Oh, thanks.
There's something else.
The box. If it's her ashes, I'm gonna be like, dun da da.
Something I think Walt should have.
Are you gonna show it? You're not gonna show it, are you? Oh, okay, it's a letter. More writing, maybe. Pictures, I don't know. You're not gonna recognize him. You haven't seen him in a long time. Oh, nice cut. That was a crazy transition. Oh, another bear. Okay. That was why we were doing that with the comic.
Come on, up here. Michael.
Hey, Walt.
Who are you?
I'm your father.
My dad's white.
Where's Brian?
Brian's not here. I come to bring you home with me.
I'm not going anywhere with you.
I mean, that's a big ask.
I know this is really hard to understand, all of it. See, Brian...
He doesn't give a shit about you.
He wants you to stay with him, but it's not his choice. I'm your legal guardian. And you know, you'll still have your dog.
Vincent isn't mine. He's Brian's.
Brian said you could have him.
Hang on!
Just want to cut in here and just say that Locke should have been like, yeah, pretty good balance for a guy who was in a wheelchair a couple weeks ago, right? That's pretty crazy. Also, these are like the same trees, and I realize they're probably not exactly the same trees. This type of tree probably grows all over in this island, but the trees that Walt is hiding in are like the same type of trees that Boone was hiding in when he was getting attacked by the monster, which I do realize turned out to be a hallucination on his part, but it's kind of a callback to that. And I think there was one other example of that in an earlier episode, and I can't remember who was in the trees. I feel like somebody else in an earlier episode was hiding in a similar group of trees when something was trying to get to them from the outside. I might be wrong about that, but for some reason I have a very vague memory of it. I just can't remember who it was that I'm thinking was in that situation.
Hey, Walt, just hang in there, okay? Walt! Hey there, buddy!
Oh.
Dad!
Climb really fast.
What about you?
Don't worry about me. I'll be right behind you, okay? Pull him! Pull him, Locke!
Ooh, did you at least leave that knife? How are you getting out of this? All right.
But Vincent, he ran off again.
He found his way back to you once, Walt. He will again.
Just gotta make another whistle.
I got a present for you.
It's a knife. No, it's the box. I'm fucking stupid.
Every card, every letter I sent you over the last 8 years.
You wrote me? I never saw these.
But she didn't throw them away either, which means, you know, somewhere inside she wanted you to have them.
All right, so I was off base on what was in the box. Oh, what's in there now? What's...
Jack!
Oh, wait, maybe she knows something.
I had that weird dream again, the one with the black rock I can't get away from. I tried to leave it, but it won't let me.
Black Rock.
They're just dreams, Charlie.
No. Rousseau mentioned it.
The French woman said something about her team returning from the Black Rock. Maybe it's the triangle on the map.
Maybe it's where Claire was taken. Maybe she's there.
Could be a dog, could be a bear, could be a person.
Vincent.
At least it's not charging you yet. Could be Claire. What if it's randomly Claire? Like, that would be so weird. Oh, shit, I got one right! Oh, I don't know why. I don't know what that means, but I got one right. All right, so I got so excited by the fact that I said, what if it's Claire, roughly a second and a half before Claire walked out of the jungle, that I shut the video down without giving any of my final thoughts on the episode or anything like that. So we're going to do that now. I was glad that we finally got a flashback episode with Mike and Walt. It's good to finally start to learn a little bit of their backstory and why their relationship has always seemed so kind of distant and tense. The bond between Boone and Locke has continued to grow stronger, and it's becoming not so much like a father and son relationship, but more of a mentor and a pupil type relationship. And then Claire coming back at the end of the episode, that makes me wonder what she's gonna have to say about who took her, where they're at, how many of them there are, maybe any indications that she has of what their intentions are, things like that. Maybe she doesn't know much of that. She might not have any idea really where she was being held, or really by how many people. Like, it's possible that, I mean, even if you had a group of 40 or 50 people, like if Ethan takes her and then she's held somewhere, potentially you could have a scenario where only 1 or 2 people really have contact with her, but she would have no idea. She would have no way of knowing that there's like 40 or 50 other people in that group. So it is possible that her recollection of what was happening while she was being held isn't really going to give us that much more information on the group. There is one other really big thing that I want to discuss, but if I'm being honest, my brain is still trying to sort of filter through it and kind of figure out how to verbalize it. And I'm not quite there yet. But that thing would be Walt and his, I guess, ability doesn't feel like the right word. It's whatever it is that Brian was referencing when he talked about Walt being different. Walt seems to have some sort of ability to kind of, what's the right word? Kind of manifest things. We've really only seen it in relation to animals so far. There was the scene with the bird where he was talking about, I'm assuming he was, from what I remember, he was talking about a report he was doing for school or whatever, and he was talking about birds, and his mom and Brian weren't really paying attention to him, and he was getting upset about that. And then a bird smacked into their glass door. And then there's the giant polar bear that was in Walt's comic book, and multiple times throughout the episode they were focusing on that and zooming in on that. And then lo and behold, Walt's out in the jungle on his own, or he's with Vincent, but in terms of being with other people, he's on his own, and what should pop out of the jungle and try to attack him but a polar bear. So there is something there that I feel like we don't fully understand yet, which is obviously intentional. I'm sure they're going to expand on the explanation for that as the series goes forward, but that's definitely something to pay attention to. The Black Rock has been referenced again. That was something that originally Rousseau said in an earlier episode, and now Saeed is thinking that that might be part of what the map is sort of referencing or trying to point them towards. So I'll be interested to see how that plays out. I feel like that's about all I've got for you for a wrap up. Anything that comes to my mind prior to me editing this video or during the process of me editing this video, I will be putting in the little kind of insert things that I've been doing in the past couple of episodes. But by the time you get to this point, you've already seen them earlier in the episode. So that's about all I've got right now. I'm going to start editing this and get it out for you guys as soon as possible, and then start working on the next one. So you guys have a great day. I'll talk to you next time.